Today, I'm going to tell you how I taught myself to save money. But it doesn't start with an easy journey, it starts with wasting a lot of money. I used to work a little bit as a tutor on the side, and when I was earning this cash, I didn't have a place for it to go and it wasn't consistent. So what I ended up doing was treating myself as soon as I got paid. As soon as I got paid, I went and bought a new game. I bought books. I bought everything that I felt like I was craving. I went and I spent it. I used to buy ice cream to celebrate when I got paid, and that was if I had enough money over the petrol money that it that it was taking out of the money that I had. You know, I had to keep money for petrol. And I'll never forget, there was a day I was driving through KFC, and this is a few years in, and I was about 20 years old. I had a credit card with a very low limit because I was trying to build my credit score, and I maxed out my credit card. I maxed it out. I had no money in the account to pay it off, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I eventually discovered, like, in the backseat of my car, enough change, and the person I was with had given me some cash so that I could pay and get out of the situation. But I didn't know what I was gonna do. And I realized that was enough pain for me to stop. I had to make a change. How could it be that I was working for so many months, doing extra work beyond my studies, and I still had no money? I still had no money after putting in all this time and effort. And basically, I tried to read a few books. They spoke about budgeting. Every time I set a budget, I would go through these steps. I would set it up. I would set up a whole Excel. I would create uh, like a view or like a graph. Some of them came with like a graph that was like auto generated so you can see and track, but it never stuck. It was never consistent enough. I even tried this other app that pulls all your data in and almost does it yourself, and it does it for you. Like, you don't need to even touch it. You just have to set up the categories, and even that didn't work. And I struggled and I was figuring it out, and then eventually one day it came to me: when I have these orders and these subscriptions, they're set up to automatically take the money every time at a certain point in the month. Now, this was a little bit further down the line, so I was receiving a lot more consistently. There was about a time where I was receiving a fixed amount, and then there was still the variations throughout the month. So what I did was I decided to remove the cash earlier, remove the cash from my account and have an untouched account. It wasn't a completely different account at the time, it was a fixed deposit. So, what that is the money went into a little holding account where you couldn't access it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, up to even 6 months at a time. And having that set up kept it away from me. I wasn't able to spend it on something unnecessary. It was gone. As soon as it was gone and placed into that, it was earning interest, it was safe. And the third point is that it was safe from me. It was out of my hands, and it was in a place where it was going to grow. So that was really the beginning of my savings journey. I learned more about other products on the way. This product just provided you the security and the separation and the lack of access to create that space where you know, okay, the rest of my money I can spend. If I need to spend it on petrol, whatever, I can adjust. But that amount of savings will always be there. It will always be my savings, and it'll be separate. And then all you needed to do, or all I needed to do essentially, was just create an automation from it. The bank account that I had didn't have an easy automation for that. So I basically did it on a one off period, and it worked better for me to do it manually. Fast forward down the line, the automation is the easiest way. You just set up a manual payment, move it out of your account either into a different bank account or into a different um, savings account. Now, savings accounts, we can get into the nuances. Products have different interest rates, and there's different benefits that they accrue. And I have an article on this in my community, so if you want, you can check that out. But yeah, essentially, having a savings, having the ability to save is massively important, because in anything in life, if you're trying to move up the world to earn a higher income, you need to use that money to get you there. Whether it's to get yourself into events and network, whether it's to further your studies with actually paying for your studies, if it is to buy equipment or something to pursue a passion that you hope to turn into a career, these things are important. And you're not going to be able to just buy certain things outright based on your early salaries or your early wages. So it's very important that you create this habit of saving. And what I've learned is everything is rigged against you. When it comes to payday, all the companies, all the shops will set up sales to get your money. And you need to be disciplined. It feels good when you get paid. Feels good when you have a flow of money into your account. But you need to have a plan so that when you come to that day, you're not falling sucker to like 2-for-1 specials or end of the month specials or even like shots in the club specials, right? Now, that's the first step, right? All of this is just the first step. Before you can get to any fun investing stuff, before you can even self-invest with like courses and things to like set yourself up as an entrepreneur, it's so important that you have a stack of cash, because if you're going to go the route of business and not have a consistent flow, you will be losing out. I've known people in the industry that for flipping, they leveraged the idea of having extra money in times where maybe they didn't necessarily have an opportunity, and suddenly an opportunity comes up. They're able to buy a piece of stock to flip at a very low price because the person in the business that they're competing against didn't have money at the time. So the example was this guy, he was flipping shoes. He knew this other guy was using his parents' money to buy the shoe. The kid was flipping the shoe and then paying the parents back, and then creating a whole flow with that, and then using the parents as credit. And eventually there was a tough time, no one was buying, and the kid had a very high demand shoe but was not able to sell it immediately. So he had to sell it off at cost price. So he sold it off at cost price to get it out of his hands, to get his parents their money back. And that's where my friend came in, and he used the money that he had saved to buy that shoe. And he knew at that time he had a contact that wanted that very same shoe. So he used a few things. He used his network, he used his excess cash to essentially turn a certain amount of money into a higher amount of money. So to flip it almost immediately, he was able to message the client before even making the deal. That is powerful. That is creating a sale out of nothing. There was no sale. He didn't have the product, but he saw the opportunity and pounced on it. Now that is something that you can do for yourself if you have the skills to essentially set up a plan and use money as leverage. Make the money work for you. Opportunities will come and go, but being prepared is what allows you to really seize those opportunities. And That is something that we learn in my community, Easy Money. If you are going through this, if you struggle, if you're losing money, if you're feeling like the money is going and you're missing out on these opportunities in whatever business it may be that you're dealing with, if you're struggling at the end of the month and there's these courses that come up for sale, or there's a discounted item like a camera that you wanted to get for yourself, but you can't because you don't have money at the time, join the group and learn how to do this. You don't need to stress when you have a plan and you have tactics to make it work for you at the end of the day.